Good morning. Everybody having a good time so far? Well, I'm Coach Andy Kantz. I've been with Club Wealth somewhere between 5 and 6 years. I've been a coach for 4.5, give or take. So nurse appreciation events, that's what everybody's here for. Okay, the easy thing to do is just go to clubwealth.com/books. You can buy the book we wrote, and then no. So we actually wrote that book pre-COVID, and a lot of it stuff has changed. So that'll be kind of where we start off. We'll go through the beginning, but then there'll be a good section of what's happened since COVID, and that's kind of where things have really exploded. So that's how you spell my last name. In the book, they spell it wrong. Okay, how many have heard my story before, know my background, anything like that? A few of you? Okay, so I'm from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I'm a former South Dakota State trooper. I figured that was a perfect segue into real estate, right? So if you can talk someone into giving up their drugs and going to jail, you can talk them into buying a house, right? I made the change to real estate in 2001. I was living the normal real estate life, showing homes, working with buyers, working with sellers, raising a family, stuff like that. November 2013, was it November 18th, I believe. I'd been feeling sick for about a month. Lost a bunch of weight. I thought I had the flu. My now wife, she was living in Texas, and I was visiting her, and I just kept getting super, super lightheaded. Would check my blood pressure, it was insanely low. So I drove back to Sioux Falls. At that time, it was with Keller Williams. I was taking a bold class. Halfway through the class, I just felt like I was going to pass out. When finished the class, called, asked a nurse, said, "These are my symptoms. What do you want me to do? You want me to go to urgent care? You want me to go to ER?" They said, "Go to the emergency room." I showed up roughly 5 o'clock in the afternoon, told them what's going on. The doctors kind of give me a little, why are you here? Why is this urgent? But he's like, "Well, we'll run some blood work, see what's going on." Well, about 20 minutes later, not the doctor, someone else came in and said, "Well, you're extremely anemic. You should be passed out now. There's something wrong with your blood. We're going to admit you, figure out what's going on." 2 days later, I was diagnosed with AML, acute myeloid leukemia. I spent almost 100 days in the hospital. Kind of just a little bit of that. So I went through one round of chemo, felt perfectly normal, other than my hair falling out. Put all these drugs in me. I felt great. Other than, one of them was orange, and I had pee neon orange. That was really unique. A little scary, but and then so basically what AML is, it's you have cells in your body, these little itty bitty baby cells, and then they mature and go into other cells, right? With AML, your body just doesn't it makes all these baby cells, and they never turn anything else. And they start flooding your blood and basically choke off the other cells. So when I went in, 40% of my blood was these, they're called blast cells. To get to remission where they can do a bone marrow transplant, they have to get to 5%. After my first round of chemo, like I said, I was feeling great. The doctor walks in, she's like, "We got the results back. Your blast cells are now at 80%. Not 5, 80. And she's like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, you have basically one more chance. If we can't get you in remission, and that's probably it." I'm like, "You're talking to me? I feel completely normal, other than my hair falling out." And so we had consulted with a couple doctors, and I knew I'd have a transplant, and whereas that did not do transplants. So I ended up going to a different hospital in Sioux Falls, and the doctor probably saved my life. He's like, "Hey, if we can't get you into chemo or get you into remission on the next one, there's always clinical trials, so don't give up." I never gave up. I never even thought about giving up. At the time, I had 2 boys from a previous marriage. My son, Bailey, he's here today. But I never got in the mindset of poor me, anything like that, because I didn't want to leave my boys. You know, I had a fiance, two stepkids. I didn't want to leave my boys with that thing that not having a dad does. And so it never crossed my mind that I wasn't going to succeed. Well, luckily, in the second round of chemo, they did get me into remission. I think they got me down to like 2%. And then that's when they start doing the search for an actual donor, because they don't want to do the search before, because a lot of times that could be just waste of time. So they said, you know, I live in South Dakota, I'm Midwestern, European descent. There should be somewhere between 10 and 20 perfect matches for you. They searched the entire world, right? And I have 3 siblings. It could be one of them as well. Wasn't one of the siblings, and it wasn't anybody else in the entire list of the entire world. 0. But I got this far, right? So I had to go in and do a 3rd round of chemo just to keep it at bay. And they're trying to decide what they're going to do. They were most likely going to do a bone marrow transplant with one of my siblings, and that would have been like a C- match. But they had to do something because leukemia was attacking on all fronts, basically. Luckily, I was in the best shape of my life, and I had a positive mindset, so they could give me the bad stuff. At the very last second, they were searching people that had been kicked off the list. And that's where they found my donor. He was from a little village in Germany, about 3,000 people. And if you have lived in Europe a certain time frame, you could have been exposed to mad cow disease. And so they had to sign off saying, if I got mad cow disease from him, I wouldn't sue him. So went through a 4th round of chemo to completely wipe out my immune system completely. And he at the time was getting injections in his blood to make stem cells, because they don't actually do bone marrow transplants, it's stem cells. And so after 7 days, my immune system was gone. They harvested his cells, gave it to a courier. Courier jumped on a plane, flew to South Dakota, went to the emergency room, handed it to them. They took it up to the lab and did all their tests and stuff. And the transplant itself is a 7-minute IV drip. That's it. Amazing, right? And it looks like a little bag of, if you guys know what Tang is, it looks like a little bag of Tang. And then for everything seems normal. And then the next day you wake up and everything in your body's going crazy, because your body's trying to figure out what's going on here, right? I don't think I have a picture in there. If you ever go to my Facebook, you see the pictures. But like anywhere I had hair in my body decided to burn. Basically, it was like chemically burned, it looked like. Anywhere. I could talk in depth about all the stuff that's happened in my body, and everybody that's had to look at stuff in my body, and everybody that walked in the room that had to look at stuff in my body. I just like, whatever you want. You don't even need to wake me up, just look. Luckily, I did get into remission. I had my transplant. They said it planned to spend 30 to 60 days after transplant in the hospital. I was in 17 days. Basically, to get to where I am now, I probably had to win 6 coin tosses to get to this far. I'm down to the final 15-ish% that have gone through what I've gone through. So every day here it's a blessing. Most days, every day. So that's kind of the background of how I got into the nurses, right? Because they were literally, like I said, the nurses that worked with me, they were just amazing. And the stuff that I didn't know they did, that they do on a daily basis. And like I said, the stuff they do to my body and check and wipe and stuff, I was like, I got to do something to give back, right? And I was able to see the inner workings of the healthcare system. And nurses are awesome. And they are very underappreciated. And they are the backbone of the healthcare industry. So they got me to survive. So how could I return the gift that they had given me? Nurses, they're amazing. They're underpaid, appreciated. They get very few extras the doctors get. You ever been to a hospital, or if you're in the industry, you know that the doctors are kind of spoiled, right? The nurses, like where my wife works, she's a nurse. Like The doctors get to eat for free. Police get to eat for free. EMTs get to eat for free. But the nurses have to pay. Okay, so decided to event because I want to give back to them, right? Went and talked to a local coffee shop, and they really didn't want to work with us on a high level. So I went and actually talked to Caribou Coffee. You guys know what Caribou is? Caribou or Pete's. I think it's the second largest coffee industry behind Starbucks. They created a heck of a deal for us. We got it about, well, the first one we did, I think we paid $1.68, and it was about $5 for them. So roughly what, 30% on 30 cents on the dollar. And it was a free drip coffee and a bagel with a sweetener. So we just went and said, anybody that's a medical professional, or excuse me, any nurses from anywhere, whether it's a hospital, clinic, school, prison, come by, we'll buy you a cup of coffee and a bagel. I was hoping for 20, 25, right? We had roughly 100 show up for the first one. Pretty good. But again, I just want to get back. So I had my name badge on, but I didn't talk real estate at all. But they started talking to me, and it's like, oh, maybe we could do this on a regular basis. So we did some giveaways. We put banners up. We printed out flyers. We took and dropped them off to anybody that let us drop them off. Some hospitals are very good. They helped us. Some people are like, nope, you can't come in and solicit. So on those, you got to find the back way, right? You find a nurse that'll hand it out for you. Whatever it took, we did it. We were dropping them off everywhere. We met with our lender partner. So we've had one main lender for the last, well, since we started, and we've had a second one come on in the last 2 years. We determine the schedule. We do them every other month, and we do them on Thursdays. We first doing them, we were doing it at one location, kind of right between the two major hospitals. And we're doing it at 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. We'd literally be standing there at the coffee shop. They have to come in, fill out the form for the prizes, and it's just name, phone number, email, where do you work? That's it. They do that. We give them a little slip of paper. They'd have to take that up to the front. They got the free cup of coffee to it. Pretty simple, right? And we found, especially that 6 to 9, because where we live, shift change for night and overnights is 7 a.m. So we're catching people going to work, we're catching people coming off work, and any like clinical nurse that works 8 to 5, we still catch that. Caribou Coffee, actually, they printed the flyers for us. So the lender paid for the coffee and bagels. Only thing I had was a promotion. So that's the first flyer we did. One of the first flyers. I know it's a work of art, right? But again, they did it, they created it, we sent them logos, they printed it up. Pretty simple. Oh, sorry. Good. Feel free to stop me or if you have questions, please let me know. So how do we go from then to where we are now? We started doing some Facebook promotions. We created the Sioux Falls Nurse, or I created the Sioux Falls Nurses Facebook page dedicated to giving back to nurses and medical professionals. It's awful. And we just, everything we did, we asked nurse to join and share and tag. And that's what our avenue was, to be able to hit the nurses at a high level. We did some boosts, but actually we get much better traction organically, which is, I know, not the norm, but we do get a lot of organic, just again because of all the boots on the ground and stuff we've done. Tags and sharing, Facebook page. So the actual big day, the event day, we've kind of talked about that there. I was nervous because like I said, I wasn't expecting anybody to come to that first one. And I was worried that, did we do enough boots on the ground? Did we stop at every place we possibly could? So like 100 people show up, confirmed our thoughts we were onto something, took lots of photos, shared them, put them on a regular page, on our business page, on the nurses page. Started doing Facebook Lives. We did a press release, and I'll talk about the numbers with that here in a little bit. It was a great learning experience, that first one. Saw what we were doing right, saw what we were doing wrong. We did Facebook videos as we drew the prizes, and the prizes, again, were donated. Lenders gave away like gift cards and stuff. Caribou gave away some stuff. And it prepared us for future events. So if you guys have read Jab Jab Hook, Jab Jab Right Hook, the book. So you get them in, and then you go for the knockout, right? So again, the second event, we did the same thing. We didn't talk about real estate at all. It was just giving back. And we texted, called, and emailed everybody. Still dropped flyers off to the healthcare offices. Encourage tagging and sharing. Again, that is so very important. Any post you're doing, encourage them or find a way to incentivize them to share and tag. You know you're succeeding when you get into the internal Facebook group, because pretty much any major, like the heart division or the ICU, the NICU, the ER, they're going to all have their own internal Facebook group where they share stuff. Once you get into that, that's when you know you're being successful, because they'll do it, right? And then they'll start reaching out to you and say, hey, it's like ER Nurses Week. Will you do something for us? Well, I was trying to do it anyways, but being you asked, yes, I will. And I think that next one we had like 125. Third one is when, okay, we've earned the trust, and this is, while it's working my coach, it's like, okay, now we're adding questions. This is when we've purposely brought real estate into the conversation. We handed out magnets with the upcoming events. We created a nurse VIP program. So with that, they get discounts at like the paint store. They get like 25% off. I have to use the magic word nurses, because then that helps us track in terms of accountability, what people are doing, what they're not doing. We added more vendors. So we've had, like, the guy that runs my gym, he's done stuff with us. He's given us money, and then he's also given away a full like 30-day workout training session. And then he also gave like discounts to nurses that signed up for it. So he got a benefit, I got a benefit, the nurse. And that's the whole purpose of this, is that everybody wins. And so like for the first few events, like I said, I'm spending less than $100, maybe. I have a lot of time. So you're trading time for money, money for time. And at the third events, when we started asking real estate questions, and the lender, they started getting refis. They started getting mortgage pre-approvals. Everybody was winning. That was the initial sheet we did. Or sorry, third sheet we did. This was the first one, just here up. This is what we added. As you can see, I'm amazing at working with Word. But it doesn't have to be complicated. And that's what I want you to get the point of this, right? It's not perfect. Shh, I haven't got that one. So I'm really surprised. Okay, so this is basically until COVID happened, every 2 months. Besides doing this, we would go out and drop off like 20 dozen cookies, and we'd do a post on the nurses page saying, hey, who likes cookies? We're gonna be dropping off cookies, Nestle Chill House cookies. Comment below if you want to win. Tell us when you work, where you work, what unit, and whether you're on 1 or 2 dozen. You can imagine, you get great traction when you do that. And then we got Nestle Chill House. Again, they're great to work with. They are normally $12 a dozen. They give them to us for $5. We did pizza places. We've done it with donuts, breakfast pizza, um, 2 different donut places, um, ice cream places. I was going to do a snow cone place. Just I ran out of time. I didn't get it done. So COVID happened, and it's like, oh, they closed down the inside of the restaurants. People were freaking out, like, how do we do this, right? So we talked to Caribou. We bounced some ideas, with each other. And they said, well, why don't we just do it as a drive-through event? I'm like, well, that's good, but how am I going to get them to fill out the form? Because for me to win, I need to collect their data, right? For them to win, they need to get the coffee. For the lenders, they need to get their, everybody's got to win. Excuse me. Okay, so then we had to kind of brainstorm and said, hey, why don't we do a Google form? I said, great. How do you do that? And I literally just got on Google and played around with it, and it was actually very easy to do. And so since COVID started, to come to the event, you have to go on to the Google form, which we post on the Facebook page and all the posts, everything we do and in the group, and fill out the form. That's what the first one looked like. So the event time, who they need to contact, name, email, phone number, call if you win a prize, where do you work, hospital, clinic, and unit. Again, super complicated here, so not everybody can do it. And there's the big one. The only, this is one I did about 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I think is where I screenshot these. The only thing I think we've added is, question. Do you have any friends or family that are looking to buy or sell? We've added that one. Am I missing any? And actually we added one more. We added, what else can we do for the nurses and medical professionals? Now, 95% of the time, they're going to say either nothing or keep doing what you're doing. You're awesome. We appreciate the support. You're tardy. Okay, so yeah, here we go. There's as you see, this is one we did last year. See this big number up here? That 531? 531 people registered for the event. Roughly 300 people came through the drive-thru. I think we ended up, I'd say like 25 leads out of that. We're averaging about 8%. We'll fill out one of the boxes that says either buying, selling, investing, or mortgage pre-approval. I've got maybe $200 into that. Not bad ROI. I don't, but that's just this. None of the above, just keep me informed about the events. And if they don't, we do not spam them. We do not send anything. We do not email them. Nothing. Nope. Once. Yeah, so they go into 2 CRMs actually. I have Line Desk. The only reason I have Line Desk is just for the nurses, because with Line Desk, you can send texts at 50 at a time. When you're inviting several hundreds or thousands of people, it's easier to do it 50 at a time than one. And then also into my follow-up box. And then whenever, when I'm retargeting, that's what I use is that list. And biggest thing for me is I want to collect data. Because I want them to see me everywhere, right? So we originally was nurses, now it's nurses, medical professionals, or support personnel. So that's a pretty broad paintbrush, right? Um, I don't care. The lender's paying for it, or majority of it, right? Or vendor partners. They're winning. I'm doing all the hard work, right, to get people there. That's my contribution. The coffee shop, they're winning. We've had like people from like their heads, my general manager, his general managers have come down from Minneapolis to watch us. So if you are in a market and it has caribous and you want to do something like this, I can put you in contact, or my general manager can talk to their general manager. All right, so this, I believe that's got just a few random things we've done. How am I doing on time? Awesome. Okay, so we have a water park and we're in South Dakota, right? So we get 90 days, that's our summer, right? So we can buy transferable passes. And with transferable passes, every day someone else can use the passes. So I either give them to clients or like this, we like to use Wild Water West passes today. And these are like $30 a piece for a day pass for a normal person. So I mean, if you're a nurse and you take 3 kids, that's a spendy. And then you throw in food and all that on top of it. This is a pretty good deal for them. So not bad. 355 people reached, 96 engagements. And we have lots of comments like it, right? Basically, they're kind of like, if it tells this is how many comments there are, I put that number in a random generator number, submit, boom. That's what gets it. And I count down. It's just when there's like 100 people you're counting, you get like 97. So as we've grown, Lululemon reached out and said, hey, we like what you're doing. How can we partner with you? This is what we're thinking. So we had a day where the nurses come in, they get 25% off pretty much everything in the store. And they said, hey, we're going to allow you to give away a complete outfit to one lucky nurse. So we just asked them. Comment below, who wants it? Tell us why you love Lululemon. Because we always want to make them start, right? Lululemon or Kira or anything like that. As you can see, I'm not like shouting out the world, it's about me, right? And I don't know if you noticed, but like, this is where the only time I ever talk about me. We're the only real estate team in South Dakota dedicated to helping nurses and medical professionals buy and sell real estate. I'm trying to burn that in their mind. When we drop off cookies, we have a label on it, courtesy of the Sioux Falls nurses and the Andy and Andrew, the Sioux Empire home team. Just over and over and over, right? Gave away figs. You guys that are in the medical professional, figs, it's a very high-end scrub company. They partnered with New Balance and had shoes. I bought a pair, said, hey, I'm gonna give away, right? Then you're strategic, right? Like I said, I need to win, they need to win. I reached out to Figs and said, hey, here's what we're doing. Can you help us? Didn't hear from them. About 3 days later, got an email, said, hey, we love what you're doing. We forward to the appropriate people. We'll get back to you. Didn't hear anything. 2 weeks later, this giant box showed up. And it had like 10 bags of chocolate covered coffee beans with figs on it, bags, pens, like just a huge box of stuff. Well, that's kind of cool. So again, more stuff to give away, right? I have to say, I'm a great idea guy, terrible at implementing. So we have not done near as much as we could with this. So that's why I brought my son Bailey. He's now going to be taking over the logistics of this because we want to do something. We want daily posts, which again is consistency, and we want to do weekly giveaways, if not daily giveaways. We're still contemplating how we're going to do that, but we're going to like take this up 10 levels to where it is now. As you can see, organic reach, 2,500 people, 718 engagements, 226 comments. That's organic. It's right now, it is just a Facebook page. I have not changed it to a Facebook group. Should I? I'm trying to figure that out. Um, yep. Yep. So facebook.com/Sioux Nurses. Partnered with this is a local place. It's a small franchise, but basically do pre-prepared meals, right? I didn't talk to them. Again, strategically, I mean, I was going to the gym and they make healthy stuff. So I stopped in there and like, hey, we probably have the same clientele. What can you do to help us out? They said, hey, that's awesome. How about we give away some meals to some units? Can you do that for us? I suppose I can give away your food. Yeah. I think we ended up giving away 80 meals, and they charge about $10 a meal. So again, what's the cost to me? But again, I win because the nurses win. I get clients out of it. I get more exposure. The vendors get more exposure. They get repeat clients. And again, everybody wins. That's what I'm shooting for, is everybody win. Because I mean, if the lender, like if they were paying for all this stuff and they were getting anything out of it, that's not a win for them. Nestle Toll House, again. These aren't like rocket science posts. I mean, it's literally me making stuff up as we go. This one's kind of special about it is night crew. Night crew doesn't always get everything the day shifts does, right? So we make it a point that we're doing stuff for the night shift as well. And they're very appreciative of it, right? Because they don't get the day stuff. And we ask them nicely when you drop it off, hey, do a favor, either let us take a picture or take a picture for it and post it. So another, again, organic, 3355, 635 engagement. We'll post stuff about what other places are having stuff. This wasn't us. This is just nurses are doing this. And actually, I think they actually Hy-Vee reached out to me and said, hey, we're doing this. Can you share it? Sure. This is a local donut shop we did. Again, we get stuff about 20 to 30 cents on the dollar. They'll do it for. We want them to at least break even. But then they get the promotion and keep coming back. Yes. Lenders or vendor partners, yes. So we've got like chiropractors, gym owners, paint stores, several other places that work with us. So that's kind of the end of the slideshow. Actually, it's not quite. Before I get to that, how many minutes I got left? 12. Okay. So the last event we did was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago tomorrow. And we'd taken kind of the summer off because I had some stuff going on with the family and just didn't work out. And we were slow in getting it promoted. I was a little worried. We had 254 people come to that one, which is not bad. I mean, a lot of people be like, yeah, that's awesome. And like, I wanted 500. The one we're doing in October or December 1st, I'm going to have at least 700. The coffee event is actually at right now we're doing it at 2 different coffee shops or 2 different locations of Caribou. And they just have to, fill out the form, they get the code. And then they got to show their ID badge and get that code. Well, this drive-through, that's okay. 500 people registered, only like 300 came. And it's all day now instead of just those 3 hours. So 5 in the morning to 8 at night. So you're catching again every shift. That's the best part. Since COVID, I haven't been there. So I mean, just summarize here. Just think about this. 500 people register. I have less than $200 into it. I get leads for 7 days ahead of time. I show up whenever I want to just shoot a couple videos. And I get 15 to 30 leads out of that. I mean, and then, like I said, we're scratching the surface here. There's like 20,000 medical professionals in our community. And I'm only getting 500 of them. I've got a long ways to go. Yes. Okay. Yep. So when they fill out the form, they get the autoresponder sends a response back, says you have to say this code, and it's like nurses love caribou, something like that. So they have to say that code at the drive-through, and then show their badge. The very first one, 3 weeks or so is the question was how long before we start promoting? It's about 3 weeks is what we did. Now we're doing every 2 months. We kind of have our cycle of what we do. Don't have it set exactly when we say, we let them know like a month or two out of when the next ones are going to be. And we will now have all of next year planned out during the next couple of weeks. So we can say, these are the dates. It's usually, we try to do like the third Thursday of the month. And that's just the coffee. That's our bread and butter is that, where biggest thing we do to collect information, but there's going to be other ways that we're doing that. But again, I used to have to get up at 5, so I get there at 5:30, so I can be there for 3 hours. And I'm not awake in the morning. I'm not a morning person. So everything just runs smoother. This last event was the first one we actually did where you could come in now and get the coffee, which they liked it because then, you know, if they're not working, if they just got off, they can hang out for a while. But again, I wasn't going to hang out at a coffee shop for 13 hours. I just did Disney for 14 hours and 2 days, 14 hours. We did make a mistake on the last one though. I said, I'm going to be completely transparent. So if you, anything about me, I'll tell you good, bad, or otherwise, because like I said, I've told you pretty much everything's happening, good, bad, or otherwise. We say a free cup of drip coffee and either a donut or we actually switched from bagels to donuts at the last event. And before we'd say, you know, if someone wanted to order something else, like a latte or something, we just would say, we wouldn't promote it, but we just told the coffee shop, you know, we'll pay the overage. And the overage never got more than like 100, 150 bucks, right? So the lenders, you know, they didn't care. Since this happened, you know, we had a little gap there, some turnover at the coffee shop. They didn't know that like it gets more like $150 in overages to like contact us. The lender got a call because they're, you know, they pay the next morning. He was expecting to pay $250, almost $1,200. Well, price has gone up, so the average drink was $9. So after both, we got them to concede some on the prices, and we got it down to just over 700. And then I said, I will, and well, and so that was at the one coffee shop. The other coffee shop, you know, only we split the lenders each up to one. The other one only had like $200 complete. And so I told the first lender, you know, I want it to be fair, so I split the cost of that one with him. But now we're going to have that. We on the air, we're fixing it, and on the next one, we'll have that figured out. But again, you don't want to have your vendor partners get smacked in the face by something like that. Oh, we specified, but now we're going to say, due to the increasing numbers, this is what you get if you want to order more or something like that. We're still figuring that out, but I mean, especially if I'm going to have 700 or 1,000 people come, that number could be ginormous. So we're going to look, what's the future of this? We're looking for more sponsors. Again, we're going to do daily posts. We're working with the VIP, or working to increase the nurse program or nurse VIP program. I've got a list now of about 150 people that said they're going to help promote the Sioux Falls Nurses page. Got to figure out what I'm going to do with that. I'm going to make some, I'm going to see if some want to be moderators and some other stuff to help drive it. But again, I've got this nice little group here of people that said they're going to help me. So now you'd want that, right? We talked about doing some mastermind with the nurses to see what they want. So we always ask, hey, what else can we do? A lot of them want happy hours and stuff like that. You know how Michael feels about involving alcohol and stuff like that. So what I think we're contemplating, there's a newer like distillery place in our town. I'm gonna see if they'll open at like 7 o'clock instead of like noon, and say you get one free of this drink, and then we get that drink that's normally $7 or $8. I'm gonna see if they'll do it for me for like 2. Because like I said, this is extra income for them. Everybody gets one drink. That's all it's on me. Anybody has more, that's on them. And I will not be there, but they will enjoy it. And I don't think they'll be huge, but again, it's catering to that night shift crowd. And we continue to find ways to give value to everybody. And pretty much the sky's the limit. If you guys know like Tristan from Lab Coats, he's like one of the major guys and smart guys on how to like do stuff with this. I'm going to start, he's like, yeah, I want to help you, but I'm busy. So we're working at that. But like 3 years ago, he said I'd be able to monetize my site at that time for like $5,000 a month. I'm like, well, that was a long time ago, at 5. I mean, but I'm like, how do I do that? So we're trying to figure out a way to do this at a national level. And like Lululemon, they said, what else can we do? I got to figure out who can help me answer that question on a huge level. So that's questions. I didn't take a picture of the shirts. So we do shirts. We also like, we sell that have like a bunch of business on the back. It has funny stuff about nurses on the front. There's a local t-shirt company that makes them, you don't have to buy 100 at a time or whatever. They on demand. They charge $20 for the shirts. 10 of it comes back to us. We use to buy stuff for the nurses. So we've got chiropractors. We've got, like I said, gyms, hair people. I mean, really the sky's the limit on who anybody that wants nurse business. If you can show them the value, they'll come on and do it. As in how to do it? So like, you mean when I'm trying like cookie places, stuff like that? I just walk in and say, oh, wow, this is awesome. I bet you get a lot of nurses in here. Well, why? Oh, I do have this group and, do this. And this is what other businesses have done. Would you be interested in doing? 9 times out of 10, they're like, yeah, what are we going to do? Or if you see a new, like we did an ice cream shop, walked in, hey, yeah, this is nice. Are you the owner? Yeah, well, yeah, I am. Oh, do you mind if I shoot a quick 2-minute video about your place? Yeah, go for it. Hey, would you mind just like donating something so I can give it away? I want a couple pints of ice cream. Great. Shoot a video. Ice cream. Hey, whoever comments the next hour, we're going to go drop off this ice cream too. Took the ice cream, dropped it off at the hospital, shot a video there, tagged the ice cream store. Come back. Hey, look, we had 1,000 people watch this. you need lead gen ideas, not even for like nurse stuff, just if you need to go do that. Any new business, go make friends, add it to your database. We're in the people business. It's all numbers. Yeah, we have two major ones. I guess I haven't really looked at it. I could, I've got the data. It's probably close to 50-50. We also got like a VA hospital. We get some teachers or school nurses. We get prison nurses. We get like telenurses. They're really good too. You go drop off stuff to them because they don't get anything. Night shift telenurses, they love it. So you got on time? Perfect. Well, thank you guys. If you have any other questions, let me know. Hit me up.